Well, happy Australia Day. Peter Van Onsel and I are taking you through the afternoon. Peter, I feel you're getting more and more cynical as the afternoon goes on. Are you getting into the Australia Day spirit yet?
Oh no, I'm not cynical. I don't find reporting on the events of Australia Day particularly interesting. That's all. But I'm happy to do it. Happy to do it. But we're going to get a chance to talk some politics.
We are, Peter. Well. Hold yourself in. Strap yourself in. We're going to talk to an actual politician, Michael Danby, MP, joining us from Melbourne. Michael, welcome to the program.
Thanks for your company.
Hi, Christina. Hi, Peter. Yeah, I've been to 2 citizenship ceremonies. I'm a little hoarse from speaking to the enthusiastic masses, but I agree with Peter. I'm not sure is this the Australian National Day or is Anzac Day?
Well, you tell me. What from your perspective?
Look, the incredible, massive turnout is on Anzac Day now. So. I don't know. I'm happy to go along with whatever people decide, but...
Michael Danby, that is just not a position a politician should take. I'm happy to go along with what people decide. Now, come on. Tell me, as an MP, you go to these citizenship, these swearing-ins probably several times a year. Come on, it doesn't get old, does it? It's quite moving to see people taking out an oath of citizenship to Australia.
Oh, Christina, my dad was a refugee from Nazi Germany who came to Australia, and all of us Danbys are incredible Australian patriots, so we love the place, and I can't tell you, it's one of the things I get a real kick out of it. You know, the two of you understand one thing, that a lot of us get knocked by people who are...
you can feel free to answer that, Michael.
Let us know who it is.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You get knocked by people who are not, who don't believe that politicians believe in anything, but that's not true. You actually have to be enthusiastic about it. You have to believe in it, and you see the faces of all of these people, and some of the stories. There are some people who haven't become Australian citizens after having lived here for 60 years, and there are others who've, you know, I've met people who've fled from Darfur and from the Khmer Rouge and who've become Australian citizens, and for whom this is a life-transforming event. So that's why we have, you know, music, speeches, people in suits. It's a bit like a wedding or a bar mitzvah.
Well, Michael, Peter has tweeted today that, you know, it's really the left and the right should find a way to come together on Australia Day.
Oh, God, I'd never tweet that. No, what I said is I'm just sick and tired of this polarised debate, you know, one half, you know, completely shit-canning the day, and the other half shit-canning those that have a negative attitude on the day. I just kind of find that all very tiring. Most Australians just want to enjoy a public holiday.
I can understand that, but for people who are involved in the citizenship ceremonies, it's as it is in any other time of the year. I mean, Christina's been to many of these citizenship ceremonies. It's much better that we hold them. It's much better that we turn them into a situation like a wedding, because you don't want it to be like it is in Europe, where people becoming a citizen of a country, it's not really something that they take, you know, on board with all the values and all the systems that you're adopting. You know, you come to Australia, we want people to positively identify with the values of this country. And I think that's why it's important to have these public ceremonies. They're a little ho-hum for, you know, experienced political observers like Peter Van Onselen, but hey, you know, for the new ones, whether this day is important or not, that's a separate question, but the citizenship ceremonies are very important for positively transforming, you know, people who've come from overseas into people who positively identify with Australia. They're making statements, they're getting involved, and we're doing it via a nice public ceremony, but it's not something you just come here and go on social security and don't identify with the kind of tolerant, pluralistic society that Australia is.
Yeah, I certainly don't have a problem with the citizenship ceremonies, but let me ask you about the Republic debate. It's been ignited today by Bill Shorten, the Labor leader. He's calling on Malcolm Turnbull to do something here. I don't doubt that Bill Shorten's a Republican, but he's also trying to wedge Malcolm Turnbull at a pretty difficult time internally. He must be aware of the politics of this. He's not silly enough not to have that, at least in the back of his mind, when he's making the spruiking sounds that he has for a republic.
Yes, but now you've got a Prime Minister of Australia and all the state premiers who are in favour of an Australian citizen being our president, our head of state. And, you know, Malcolm was so passionate about it. Has he dropped this issue, as he has so many other issues, in order to become leader of the Liberal Party and Prime Minister? I mean, what kind of devil's pact did he make with the social conservatives in the Liberal Party? Let's see the colour of his money. At what point are we going to see the real Malcolm? You know, where he comes out and gives his views on marriage equality, on the Republic, on the list of issues that I think will make Eric Abetz and Tony Abbott very angry with him.
I'm pretty sure we are never going to hear Malcolm Turnbull give a real Malcolm speech, but...
Why do you say that?
well, I really wish Julie hadn't given a real Julie speech.
I see what you mean. Sorry, yeah.
Michael Danby, though, talking about devil's pacts, one that you've been banging on about for the past few weeks, and, you know, we've really got to bring some politics into this discussion. You're warning of a devil's pact between the Liberals and the Greens in terms of a preference swap.
Because Labor's never done that.
No, we never do that.
Well, I actually, in my seat at the last election, was very principled. Peter, I said that given some of the views of leading Green political party people like Lee Rhiannon, I would preference the Liberals ahead of...
But that's because the Greens are the threat in your
party.
seat, not the Liberals. I mean, I've done enough electoral politics study over the years, Michael Danby, to know that it's got nothing to do with principles, it's raw numbers. And the same goes in other strategic seats for people on your side as well as on the Liberal side, don't get me wrong, but you preferencing the Liberals over the Greens is a strategic decision, not a principled one, and I say that with everything that I can own about what I know about electoral politics in your seat.
but Peter, the Liberals are the alternative to me. The Greens would only be elected if they got ahead of Labor. So what I was saying is that I would have preferred a Liberal to be elected than the particular Green political party candidate at that last election.
Yeah, but that's because you want the Liberals to do the same,
and
and therefore that guarantees that the Greens aren't a threat to you.
No, it's not.
It's the raw arithmetic of the seat.
I didn't expect anything from from the Liberals, but I don't expect Michael Kroger to try and put Labor people out of seats in the inner city in Melbourne, and to suggest the same in New South Wales to people in Grayndler or in Sydney, because I think it would be bad for the future of Australia if in the inner city the alternative to the Liberal Party became the Green political party. And that's because I don't agree, as I'm sure you don't, with the Green political party's views on not just international affairs but on wealth taxes. I don't agree with some of their crazy policies like closing all zoos in Australia. As I said to Christina last time, are the elephants going to wander down Pitt Street, the zebras down Collins Street? Really, we don't. If we look at the Green
policy,
political
just
party
to free them into the community.
Well, I mean, that's my extrapolation of closing down zoos, you know.
To get the Greens on about that, that's a crazy policy if that's what they're advocating.
I mean, come on now, Michael Kroger, I mean, how likely do you think it is the Libs are actually going to do this? Because I've often thought, you know, if they took a position where they preferenced the Greens in a number of inner city seats, you know, going back 10 years, they could have really seen Labor lose a hold in seats in inner Sydney and in Melbourne. They haven't done it, probably precisely for the reasons you're outlining. The last thing they want is the Greens being on the crossbenches in lower and upper houses in both state and federal parliaments.
Well, you know, it's an issue of principle, Christina. What is the best for Australia? And I don't think opportunistically in a one-off election in Batman or Wills, as Michael Kroger is hinting at, or in Grayndler or Sydney, putting the Green Party ahead of the Labor Party is something that is a good idea in the national interests of Australia. Moreover, I don't think most Liberal voters would think that. I'd be interested in Peter's reaction to that, given the policies of the Green political party. One of the things that I think it's a shame is that they have a secret national conference, which if the Liberal or Labor Party did it, would be a national scandal.
Yeah, I agree.
They have policies, you know, I mean, you talk to Peter about, you don't know whether it's their real policy about closing down zoos. I mean, we don't know all of their policies. My wife asked one of the Green candidates at the last election, at what level was the wealth tax that they were going to, the inheritance tax that they were going to introduce at? Was it at 30 or 40%? And was someone from the government going to come inside your house and look at your carpets and paintings and other personal items to value them? So, I mean, what are their policies? And if their policies are as radical as I say they are, I don't think the Liberal Party should be preferencing them over the Labor Party. Well, and I make this challenge to you, Peter. Sure. I will debate Michael Kroger on this, on your program or any program Sky puts me on with him.
All right, well, I'll see if I can get you guys on together. That'd be good. Look, on the issue of the view that Liberal voters would have about preferences for the Greens, I suspect not a good one. They've got real ideological issues with them. But here's my question for you. You say it's an issue of principle. That may well be right. What then about the preference deals that are done in the Senate between Labor and the Greens, or indeed in key marginal seats, not including your one, but a lot of key marginal seats, over 80% actually, where Labor and the Greens do preference swap deals? Is it important as a matter of principle in your view that the Labor Party reject preference deals of any sort with the Greens in any seat, lower house or indeed Senate?
I wouldn't say in any seat. You have
it's
to
a matter of principle, though,
Mr.
Danby.
At the individual circumstances, yeah, but you may have a candidate in the Senate who's not as bad as Senator Rhiannon. You may have a candidate in the lower house who is not as bad as one of our other people. But as a matter of course, if you're looking at their policies, I would say that the Labor Party should not be in support of the Green political party as a automatic preference.
I've got to ask you a question though.
After voting for ourselves.
I've got to ask you a question though. So not in, for example, New South Wales, they shouldn't do deals between Senate votes for Greens and preference swaps for marginal lower house seats because of Lee Rhiannon. You could probably add Scott Ludlam to that, I would have thought, in WA. He's got some pretty radical social views, not dissimilar to Lee Rhiannon. I mean, Sarah Hanson-Young in South Australia. Let's be clear about this, Peter. You or I are not Stalinists. We're not. Unlike Lee Rhiannon, we're not saying they can't have those views. We're just saying those views should be able to be criticised. And yes, I say, my answer specifically to you is if Lee Rhiannon is the candidate in New South Wales, a person who never apologised for or explained her role in the Stalinist Party of Australia, who never explained her visit to the Soviet Union or what happened to all of the people who perished or were persecuted under that system, then the Labor Party should not be giving preferences to her.
Well, Michael Danby, we're going to leave it there, but thank you so much for coming on Newsday this afternoon, and we really do want to wish you a happy Australia Day.
A happy Australia. I'm sorry I'm croaking at the two of you, but that's the price of being in Australian citizenship ceremonies.
And your voice has been a bit tough as well, but thank you as well, Mr. Danby.
Okay.
You're incorrigible, Peter Van Onsel, and the man comes on to talk
I know,
to us
I'm
about
just kidding. He's got a good sense of humour.
He's a fine Australian, and it seems to have a preference deal wrapped just as long as it's not Lee Rhiannon.
Yeah, it
sounds like
that's
Lee
right.
I got to agree with that. Coming up after the break, Matt has the sport.
As the world #1, Serena Williams powers her way towards the semi-finals at the Australian Open.